Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 573.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
Hey guys, hopefully things are going well for you today, and we want to be on that one. Hopefully things are going well for you today, and you guys, you know how this works. If you've been here before, you can go ahead and the call-in line is already open, 417-352-2274. Again, that's 417-352-2274. Be nice to Megan, and she'll let you through. And if you're not nice, well, maybe she won't. It's good either way. But bring in your questions on business, short-term rentals, real estate. These are the things that I know about. Well, I know a few more things other than that, but for the most part, if you find yourself in a position today where you feel like you are stuck, where you wish you could make more progress in some way, shape, or form, this would be the time to, call. And we'll see what we can do to assist you and move you to that next step. For those of you watching inside of our student group, as normal, I've got you right here on the phone so that I can see what it is that you might be asking, so you can feel free to type. For those of you watching other places, by all means, just go ahead and type in the chat if you're not going to call in, because then I can see your chat as well. So for the most part, we should have everybody covered, and today's a good Tuesday, so I'm pretty excited for everything that's going on, and hopefully you guys are excited in the world about your business. And if you're not feeling excited, that's a good reason to call, 417-352-2274, 417-352-2274. I see a number of people who have already found their way to the dialing button, which is great, and I'm excited about this. This is good. So let's make sure that we can go ahead and have a conversation with, I believe, first-time caller or someone new. I'm going to bring Ann on in. Ann, how are you doing? Ann? Not Ann? Hello? Hello? If you muted yourself, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, I'm going to put that back, and let's go back to, it looks like, Nevin. So let's go to Nevin and see what's going on. Nevin, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jay. How are you doing?
Good so far. What's going on, man?
Yeah, snow started here in Duluth since last Saturday.
I'm sorry.
I can't hear you.
Minnesota, is there snow on the ground yet?
Yep, it started snowing from this Saturday.
Oh, man. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my first question is, we are entering into the winter season now. Bookings are really, really slowing down. So what all additional things can we give to our guests? Like, for example, now what I'm giving to my guests is, I had a restaurant manager come to a BNI meeting. So I spoke with him, and we kind of worked out a deal such a way that, hey, I told him I'll send out guests to your restaurant if you can give them a 10% discount or some discount exclusively for my guests. So I designed a small a label saying that, hey, this is only for guests that stay at this unit. You get a 10% discount if you go eat at this restaurant, and I've done that. I'm also working with the BNI member for a massage, who's a massage therapist, so that we can give some other add-ons. I mean, I'm just trying to think what other things I could give to the guests so that they book with us over others? Do you have anything in mind? Because winter is really, really, bad here in Minnesota, and this is my first winter, so I don't know what to do.
Yes, the first time experiencing a slow season is always fun. That's what we're going to call that. And I totally understand where you're coming from. So the one of the things that I want to highlight, though, that you said that I absolutely love, and I want to make sure that nobody misses, is that you said the letters BNI, which suggests to me that you've been going to a BNI group, or you remember as well.
Yes, I've been a member for 2 weeks now.
Awesome. And I appreciate you hearing what I've suggested and actually following through on that, because it is situations exactly like you're talking about right now that where BNI can be very, very helpful for those that have chosen to be members. So that is by far the most encouraging thing I've heard you say so far on this particular call. Now, with that being said, one of the things I want to bring to your attention, let me see if I can find it real quick. Is this it? Nope, that's nope. So here's where I'm coming from. Do you happen to have I don't forget what you would call this. You would call this person a travel agent. Yes. Is there a travel agent in your chapter?
Yes, I think so. Yes, there is a travel agent.
Okay. Perfect. Since you have a travel agent, here's what I would suggest you do. I would suggest you ask them the following question, because this is what I did and do. Okay, is ask them very simply, hey, what's something that would help you grow your business if a customer just wanted a customer of mine, say came into town and all they had for a budget was say $100 or $150, and see how they respond to that, because there can be a list of things that works. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Now, let me tell you why I'm saying this. All right, so super ninja secret right here. What you're going to do is you can start and use what I like to call, I don't have any other name for them, but we call them instant book specials. So it literally means you are booking at the advertised rate, and if you book at the advertised rate, then you get something else included. And that something else that's included could easily be any of the experiences that your travel agent knows would fit within $150. So instead of having to haggle back and forth with price, you're now dangling a completely different type of carrot in front of them and generating a referral for the travel agent. And do you see how all of this is going, how it all works together?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've done this, and the thing that we have done the most with is when someone stays 30 days or longer, we will give them a 50-inch flat screen 4K television. And because that 50-inch flat screen 4K television is a better value for us than trying to haggle back and forth over the discount.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That would be one of the things that I would look at.
Mm-hmm.
What's your next question?
My second question is, I've visited BNI twice. I pitched twice, and then after the member, I've pitched twice, but I'm not getting any response. How would you pitch to them?
My friend. You need to build. It's going to take some time before you get any quote unquote response as you're. It takes a while because you are working with individuals whose credibility is on the line, and depending on what you're asking for. So obviously you could easily be asking for introductions to corporations, which is probably the easiest thing for them to refer you to. So introductions to some of the local corporations, like Best Buy's in Minneapolis. I don't know who's near you, where you are in Minnesota, but I would be looking for corporations of that kind that are in your area and ask them for referrals to their travel departments there, for sure. And if you're asking for locations like from landlords, etc., then that could also work and does work. but that will definitely take much, much, much longer, my friend. So that's not going to happen quickly, and that's okay that it takes longer. That's part of this process, okay? So as you build your relationships in that group, the main thing you want to be focused on is what they call a power team. So, for example, in my group, we just got a property manager. It's been kind of cool because she's a residential property manager who has no desire to do anything short-term rental related. But guess what? All of her owners keep asking her to do. So it works out very, very well from that standpoint. So hopefully that makes some sense to you, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yep, absolutely.
So, but again, that didn't just happen, and it's going to take time. And the fact that it takes time is completely fine. It should, okay, for the types of relationships and the strength of them that you're actually looking for. That's really what it comes down to. I want you to focus on your centers of influence. So think about the centers of influence, the doctor's offices, because there's probably a physician or two in your area that's in BNI. Think about the physical therapists, chiropractors, anyone of that kind who has people traveling from out of the area to come and take advantage of their services. Those are going to be, and there's a lot of them there. It's just going to take time for you to educate them on who you are and what you do, how you're not a property manager. That's one of the things that they always think. And most importantly, what is a good referral for you? So if you haven't been to the local, what they call MSP training yet, then go ahead and get over there and you'll be good. Cool?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. It's what we do, man. It's what we do. All right, so let's go to, looks like Todd in Virginia. This is going to be great. Hey, Todd, how are you?
Hey, Jay, how are you?
So far, so good.
Excellent. So I have actually a real estate agent. She has a rental listing, and it's a condo building, kind of a smaller building, but they have a key fob to get in, so it's a secure building. How do you work that with any type of buildings that have some type of key fobs or card entry or whatever into that's secured? How do you get around that or deal with it?
Got it. No problem. So, Todd, let me ask a question. Are you one of our students right now?
Yes.
Interesting. Module 3 inside the mastermind has the answer to your question. However, I will answer it again, but I'm just giving it to you for reference as well. Okay. So that way you have it inside the mastermind, module 3. Now, with that said, for those of you who didn't even know we had a product available, we teach individuals to become bigger, better, badder short-term rental operators. It's a great way to get inside of real estate. And the question that Todd is asking is quite common in that people wonder with all this high-tech stuff, what do you do? So here's the answer, Todd. What you want to do is you want to take whatever they're giving you for access control, that goes inside the unit, all right? And assuming you're following all of our security procedures in module 3, here's the next thing you need to do. You need to ask I'm going to say the leasing specialist or resident manager, or whatever they call themselves. Just ask, if I order food, how does the guest get to the front door the first time?
Okay.
Whatever they say, how does the food delivery guy get to the front door? And you want to pay attention to that answer. The one answer you don't want is, if you order food, you have to come all the way down and let them in. That's the one answer you don't want. Anything other than that, they're literally describing for you what your guest is going to have to go through the first time to get to the front door. And then once you get to the front door, you use our security system to go ahead and get inside. And now that they're inside, they've got your key fobs, your gate remotes, blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
now,
and then there's obviously a fine or whatever if they happen to take it with them and whatnot.
Yeah, not happen. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not a happen. I'm telling you, it will happen.
Yes.
Automatic guaranteed. It's going to happen. I think in the last 2 weeks, I'm sure we've done it at least twice. And it's a $250 charge, but that doesn't seem to stop people. So, it is what it is. Yeah, no, that, my friend, you were, that's that. I don't care how you slice that one. That's going to happen. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Cool?
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
All right. No problem. Anytime is what we do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching at home or on your phone, are any of you standing in line at the grocery store? That would be really strange, but I guess it's possible. This is how it rolls over here. What we do is we've been doing this for a significantly long time, helping our students get unstuck with very easy questions if we can, or even people who are not yet students, so that they have the ability to get one step closer to making real estate a real thing for them. So if you feel like you've got a question, dial the number 417-352-2274. Again, 417-352-2274. Be nice to Megan. Otherwise, she might, I don't know, she might just hang up on you. I have no idea. No, she's not going to do that. But be nice to her either way. All right, so I've got a couple of questions that have come in from YouTube. I see those. We want to get to those in here in just a moment. I also want to make sure, though, we give our existing students priority here. Oh, hey, Van. I see Van, Jeremy, Sarah, Robin, Stephen. Oh, okay, Hassan. What is this? How can we have properties in a state that you're not in? I feel like there's more to that question, or at least that's not the question you're trying to ask, Hassan. I don't know. I just don't even understand the challenge because I don't understand. One, to have a property, as we say, all you need is a lease. So where you physically are located doesn't prevent you from having a lease in that area. And the system, if you're running it properly, is designed so that you invest no more than an hour a day of your own personal time. And if you're like me, you literally run it from a phone and an iPad. I have a mobile phone and an iPad. That's it. So yeah, in fact, that's a good point, because I said at the beginning of this, I think in the title, we were talking about how I was asking simply the question, if your business can't run without you, do you even have one, right? And that's one of the things that I want to stress. If you have to physically be present, physically do something each and every day, I don't know if you really have a business as much as you have a job, I guess. Now, that's not to say that there aren't duties that the CEO you have to do, but it's not critical to delivering the physical service each and every day, right? So, and here's what I mean by that, to give some of you an example. Right now, as we're talking, our arrival time is at 4 p.m. Well, one of the things I can guarantee you is that today there will be people arriving and somebody's going to get lost. Someone's going to miss their code. Someone's going to need some sort of assistance. And they're arriving right now. The difference, though, is I'm here with you. I don't have to try to help them get in, because all of that is automated with our on-site staff as well as with our virtual staff in order to make that happen. And the same thing is going to happen tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And that's regardless of anything that I say or don't say. In fact, one of the unique things that's happening here is that myself and my wife and 3 of the 4 kids, we're all getting ready to get on an airplane. So tomorrow, I'm not going to have time to stop and do anything in that regard. It has to run, right? And one of the challenges that many of our students take on is how far away can they go from their business and still have it run. We've had some go from California to London, from DC to Thailand. They're always posting, comments inside the Facebook group about how this is great. They're not, quote unquote, at home or at the office, and everything is still running. And one of the things that I've often told my wife or told others is simply that what I always wanted to build was something that was location independent. So in theory, I could live anywhere I wanted so long as I had a Wi-Fi connection and my mobile device, and in this case, my iPad. And that's, I think, the goal for many, right? So again, I say all that to say one thing. If the system that you're currently running, and I don't care if you've been inside short-term rentals for a while, the system you're currently running can't run without you, then I'm going to strongly encourage you to go to the presentation, cashflowdiary.com/star, because your system is in need of an upgrade. It's just that simple. All right. I'm going to get back to the phone here, and let me see, who is this? Oh, and if you've got a question you want to call in, it's, where's the number? 417-352-2274. And I believe we've got Mr. Peter on the line. Peter, what's up?
Hello there, entrepreneur. This is Jay Massey, and what I want to say to you is that the number one mistake that I have ever made in business, number one, has been waiting too long to do the books, waiting too long to get the bookkeepers, the accountants, the CPAs, the CFOs involved, and I don't want you to make that same mistake. That mistake cost me over 6 figures, and now for a significant discount, you have the ability to get your books together using FreshBooks. So what I want you to do is I want you to go over to gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary. Again, that's gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary. FreshBooks is the easy to use software designed to help you, the small business owner, the freelancer, get organized and save time on invoicing, getting paid faster, keeping those books in order so that it becomes a bonus for you to do your taxes as opposed to a burden. Go over to gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary and get started today. And now let's get back to the rest of the story.
What's going on, Jay? How's it going?
Just trying to be like you.
You got jokes, man. You got jokes. That's a good one.
What?
That's a good one.
You hanging out with the trees all up there and was it Seattle, right?
You don't do trees, Jay. You don't do trees. Come on.
You were so right.
Well, I'll take that back. You do palm trees.
Well, see, palm trees aren't aggressive. They don't try to attack my lungs or anything, so we good.
Exactly. I have to respect that. Gotta respect the lungs.
Yep.
Well, thanks for taking my call. Hey, so I have a follow-up for Nevin. It's funny, I had the same question about the instant book special. So I heard a portion of it.
Yep.
So so do you need to coordinate that through a travel agent?
No, you don't need to.
Well, how do you offer that on the platform?
I wanted to have more options.
How would I offer that on the platform, though?
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of what I mean by having more options. So assuming, now I'm making lots of assumptions, and a lot of people are listening thinking that, okay, cool, now I'm going to do this, but you have to have all the pieces in place. So you could a simple title change or description change, letting people know that an instant book special is available is great, and you can give them examples of such. Then, assuming they actually take you up on an instant book special of some kind, then what you can do is inside your messaging, you can have an automation specifically with, and again, if you combine that with Smart B&B, it's going to be an automation that will allow you to send a link dynamically to, say, pretend, for example, you've built this out. If you pre-planned it, you have it literally on your direct booking website to where they can choose which of the instant book specials they would like. And then once they've made their selection, all of that information goes over to the travel agent without your intervention whatsoever. And if it's set up ahead of time, they're just going to invoice you and you pay. Like literally, that's it. It's just done. Does that make sense?
You lost me on the automation allowing a link to the direct booking, because if I'm working through a platform,
yep.
How do the platform, Airbnb, VRBO, they're going to allow me to put my link to my direct book on there?
You're not going to put it in the actual listing. You're going to put it in your messages after confirmation.
Oh, after confirmation.
After confirmation. So in the listing itself, you can give them an example of some of the things that are available for them.
Okay.
You don't. But in the confirmation messages, or one of the ones quickly thereafter, is where you're going to actually put the link that allows them to then go choose which experience they'd like to have.
Oh, okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
So what ends up
right.
happening is that I think you get the idea, and then all of that, because it's automated, the only thing that you need to, that ends up happening is that invoice that goes back and forth. And if you've done that right, that invoice technically is going to your accounts payable, aka your bookkeeper, and then maybe once a week or once every other week or something, you're running your payroll or business expenses, and then you have all the documentation you need to handle those concessions, and obviously then it's going to be on your cost of goods sold, and you're good. And I know you understand all of that.
Indeed.
So that's your world.
Right. I'm actually here with 2 clients right now after the first job, so I'm going to get to my second question. So we talked several weeks ago about me acquiring additional units with a current landlord. So it's
Okay.
situation is maybe closing down one unit, and I might move over. I might acquire the additional units with this other landlord. He's got a vacancy problem now. He's got a real vacancy problem. So what we talked about, you wanted to impress upon me the importance of negotiating first right of refusal. I get the concept, but honestly, I've never negotiated. I mean, so at that point, am I just negotiating that into the lease as well as all of the other STR stuff, or am I trying to look ahead to, evaluating the property and things of that nature? I mean, I've done a fix and flip. I've never acquired a multifamily. So how far in advance am I, how much am I trying to clock into this negotiation?
Yeah, totally understood. I just want to make sure I understand something. Who's getting the first right of refusal?
So I would be getting the first right of refusal, right?
Okay, yeah, I think so. I just wanted to make sure I heard it right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, depending, so is this is a property you want to purchase then?
I mean, yeah, I would like to. Well, I did kind of hint around with him, and, it's not like he bit or revealed that he would want to sell it like in the very near future or anything like that. But yeah, I still don't see that as a deterrent for what you're trying to get us ready for, and that is, negotiating for that potential later. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with asking for it. How many units is this building? 16
units.
Got it. And how many are you taking right now?
I only have one, but he's got several coming available. He's got a couple. He's got some vacancy issues. People are moving out. It's 2 miles from the airport. Yeah, it could be
Here's
good.
what I would say very clearly. I wouldn't be willing to give you a first right of refusal if you're only taking one unit. If you said to me that, hey, I'll take all of the vacancies, then now it's a different story. We're having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, I understand that. No, I currently have one. I've had one there through about 3 months, but I'm willing to take the remainder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this should be easy then. This should be easy. I mean, if you were the landlord, it'd be something like, hey, Peter, I've got the one unit. It's been working out great. I see you have a number of vacancies coming up. Let me ask you this question. Do you think it makes any sense for me to take all of them? And what are you going to say, Peter? You're going to say, yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Cool. No problem. As a condition of me taking all of them, here's one of the things I'd like to do to protect my interest should sometime in the future you decide to sell.
Okay.
I'd just like to have first right of refusal at for any particular buyer that comes along. So if you get a buyer, I'm not saying you can't sell it. I just want to know about it and have a shot at buying it at whatever whatever the legitimate buyer is talking about.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. There you go. No problem.
All right. That's it.
Thanks, Peter. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right.
No problem. All right, people. So you guys, you see, this is how it works. We'll do this a few more times. So if you've got a question, now would be the time to call in, 417-352-2274. And let's see, we've got anything from the Facebook group. Yes, Hassan. I live in Maryland, but I'm getting leases in Tampa. Oh, good. That's great, Hassan. That shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. I mean, we have a number of students in the Tampa area, and B, if that's where you want to go, that should work out quite well. And Sarah then replies, just so that, I don't know if you saw it, Hassan or Hassan. I'm sorry, I still don't know how to pronounce your name. She says, I live in North Dakota, but her units are in Minnesota. And again, the system that we teach is designed for remote management, for lack of a better way of putting it. You don't need to be there. Now, inside the materials, especially in the blueprint, we double down on please start near where you live. There's just so many little things to learn. Please start near where you live. That doesn't mean you have to stay there, but I just want you to start there. All right. Hey, Adil, how are you? How's Canada treating you? Is there snow already there? Russell, what's going on? And got Minnesota all up in the house today. Anyway, Keisha, if you promote the Instant Book Special on a platform like Airbnb and send them to your site like Lodgify to book an experience, how do you let them book their experience online without booking nights because they have already made a reservation? The only way to do that, Keisha, would be to get them to know what your site is without having to use one of the marketing platforms, because there's no other way to do that at this current moment in time, because all of the platforms require or block sending them to any place other than their website. They just don't let you do that. So if you have an existing, now we're getting to some of the advanced stuff that we're going to be talking about soon, at least inside the group anyway, about how to do some of the remarketing, etc., that can help that to happen. But again, there's no way to take a person. I mean, you could take it, you could spell out your website, but that's just kind of weird. There's no clickable link you could create to kind of make that work out. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question. Megan, what's going on? She's watching. Hey, Jay, what are your feelings? My feelings? I have feelings, yes. What are your feelings on incorporating in some other state from the one you're primarily working? For example, I live here in California, but creating my LLCs to be around 1,500. Oh, got it. I see where this is going. If I create in Delaware or Nevada, it's going to be considerably less, but there are other things I'll need to consider, like having an agent in that state. Is this good, possible, blah, 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 blah. Got it. Susan, as you know, this is a legal question, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I'm not an attorney. So let's just start with that. From what I understand, though, just because, especially California, it may, I don't know if that's going to necessarily help you with the setup costs, but you're still going to have to register. Say if your entity is domiciled in a state that you don't live in, you still, especially in California, you're going to have to register foreign in California because you live there. So it's not going to avoid that 800, but it might save you some money on the setup cost. That's a good question. I don't know. So talk to counsel and see what they say, and you can find an attorney in California who's also licensed in one of the other states that you're thinking about, who could probably, hit all the pieces for that. And yeah, because you're going to need a registered agent in all the places. And yeah, anyway, hopefully that helps in some way, shape, or form. All right, let's see. Yes, Megan, that's right. Get them. Tell them to call in. I'd love that too. So that's funny. Okay, let's see. Is Na Yang? I'm sorry if I messed up. If I mess up any of your guys' names, know that it bugs me, but I'm doing my best. So it says, thanks, Jay. I'm a new student and just started with the blueprint. Awesome. I live near San Francisco, plan to serve business travelers, people, PLS, and millennials. Okay. What are the steps to identify city zip code near me that I will most likely be profitable? Okay, got it. So, got it. So, that great question. And one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is to change the question, because you said what what are the steps to identify the city and or zip code near me that I would most likely be profitable? Instead of thinking about the money first, think about the person, kind of like you started your sentence, right? You started this by saying that you were going to serve business travelers. So really the answer isn't where am I going to be the most profitable, because that can become a function of additional services regardless of zip code or how you run your expense ratios. What's important is understanding who do you want to serve, and more importantly, what are they coming to do? So what I would do if I were you is that I would focus on the areas, think about what your person is coming to do. Are they coming to a particular company or companies, or a particular group of companies like tech companies in a certain area that you're trying to necessarily influence or cater to? And if so, how can you be located near them? Think about what they're coming to do. People want to stay near what they're coming to do. Okay, they'll make the trip from the airport once to wherever they're going, and they want to stay near what they're coming to do. Okay, that's what you want to think about. And wherever that is, then it can become a function of, like, because that'll help you narrow it down, and you can narrow it down literally to the street level. That'll then tell you, well, I want to be in this particular area, and then it becomes a function of compare and contrast in terms of floor plans and features and all those other things that can also matter as well. Again, I know you said you have the blueprint. I don't know if you've heard, but we also have the Mastermind product available as well. I'm mentioning this specifically because there's about 2 hours, maybe more, of training on that one topic. And yeah, there's about 2 hours of training on that one topic so that you can drill what I've just said down further. So hopefully, I don't think it's too late for you to upgrade if that's what you want to do, but if not, no big deal. Just do what I said, and that'll definitely point you in the correct direction. By the way, I'm really glad to hear that you're up in San Francisco. Now we need somebody up in San Jose as well, because these are places. San Francisco is a place that area, we tend to go up there. And so I would love to stay at one of your locations next time. Let's see. David, what's going on? He says, I had my first appointment yesterday, with a potential tech guru ahead of getting my first unit. Okay. He asked me if I had a checklist that he could use. He'd also like to see a list of resources or references based upon the Mastermind deliverables, because I don't want to miss something. Do we have a master tech guru playbook of sorts that has all of the consolidated needs, resources, and references in one place? Wondering if I missed it somewhere. Technically, it's module 3. It's not like in a PDF form, but as I go through module 3, what I am talking about, or if you look on your dashboard, if you look on the dashboard in Trello, it's got the information there, but there's not a separate PDF. This is the tech stack that gets installed and whatnot. And just know that I'm always testing stuff. But what you see there is good for now, and what you see there is good for now. And most of the stuff, I find it interesting that you found the need to go to a tech guru. I'm trying to figure out what you would actually want them to do, because most of the things like the Vivint, the Noise Aware, etc., either they're professionally installed or they're very, very easy to connect to the network. So if you know how to enter a username and password, your TV is the same way. I'm trying to figure out what you need the tech guru for, or what you feel they need for, because if you feel they need him, maybe there's something I can answer that would remove that feeling. All right, let's see. Let's go. Oh, do we have any more callers? Oh, okay. Looks like someone did call in. We'll find out who that is in a minute. Keisha says, I'm confused. Don't be confused. Once they book, you said send them your link via Smart B&B to your direct booking site to choose their experience. Yes, that is correct. Can you walk me through how they choose their experience? As of now, I have experience only as add-ons with bookings on my Lodgify site. Well, and Just maybe have a list of the experiences and put a check mark box right next to it, and they can just choose, or maybe it's a drop down and they choose one. That's all they would need to do. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you're asking a different question, but that's all they would need to do. Anyway, Hassan, I need to know how to find a runner to do the physical stuff. I know, right? Hassan, that is a constant conversation. Trying to find the vendors that you need is I guess the best way to answer that question is where you'll kiss lots of frogs before you find your prince or princess. That's just kind of how it goes. And I'm with you on that, my friend, because I now have termed them the operational assistant, if you will, or facilities maintenance, depending on what you're talking about. They're not easy to find. We've been through plenty of them. There is no foolproof way other than to start testing them, do the job yourself for a little while, start testing them and seeing if you can find someone. People have gone to colleges. People have gone the professional route, trying to build a company around it. There's no, hard. Susan, thank you, Jay. I'll call my guys and find out more. Excellent. Yes. Megan is, cool. There is someone there. We will definitely do that. And Na says, got it. Thanks. Okay, so I got all the questions from the student group. I have another caller, and then I'm coming to you guys on YouTube. I see an entire list of stuff over there. I haven't forgotten about. I did forget which camera to look into. Anyway, I haven't forgotten about you at all. All right, so let's get on the phone. Lumiere, I believe, is the name. I'm doing my best. I hopefully got it right. Lumiere?
Jay, what's up? Yeah, it's Umair, but pretty cool.
Wait, one more time?
Umair.
Oh, got it. Yes, finally. Because now so I've seen your name, and it's driven me nuts. I'm like, how do you say this? Umair. Got it. Yes.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
All right,
sir?
awesome. I'm doing awesome. I've been just really loving all your material on both Renatus and Cashflow Diaries. But I'm just digging into all my material. I'm getting my head wrapped around everything. And I've got an opportunity to do a short-term rental in my parents' basement. Now, I don't live there. It's a single-family home, has a separate walk-in, pretty big area. Could probably sleep 8. But it's like a studio. But, it has a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. But the walk score is no good. And I don't know if I want to invest money in building the whole thing out for them, even though it's my parents. I guess it wouldn't go to a waste. Or if I should just take the money or existing capital that I have and go ahead and secure a commercial lease in an apartment building near Tyson's Corner, Virginia, where I live. And so I've been just kind of playing around with this obstacle in my head. I think I can serve. There's a military base in Lorton, Virginia. That's where my parents are. But just wanted to hear some feedback. This would be my first unit, and so just wanted some feedback.
Got it. Totally understood. And you're not the only one who's presented with challenges like this. You see, you've been, and that's what I love about education, because the true purpose of education, in my opinion, is to train you and I to recognize opportunity. And that's what just happened. That basement, by the way, what kind of basement sleeps 8 people? This is huge. That's like a whole nother house.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like a 3,000 square foot single family house, and there's just 2 people living there. The basement's completely vacant. There is a kitchenette that I built there, and so it seems like a good place, but just the walk score is no bueno. So I just
is there a bathroom?
There's a full bathroom. There's a full kitchen and a bedroom.
And there's parking and a private entrance.
There is a driveway, but my parents only own 1 car, so the guest could park 1, and they could also park in front of the house if there's more than 1 vehicle. So parking shouldn't be an issue.
And there's a private entrance?
Yes, so there is a private entrance, and I'm going to build a fence, but they would have to walk behind the house, which I think is a little sketch. But if I created a lit area.
You would have to definitely pay attention. I don't know if you've ever heard me say or mention CPTED before. It's crime prevention through environmental design. Anyway, just look it up. CPTED. Go look it up.
Okay.
And you'll understand some of the more things that you're going to want to do on the external to help make it feel safe as well. Now, with that being said, then let me ask probably the really important question. Your parents know that the people that are coming are likely going to be making noise. The quiet basement will no longer be quiet.
Yeah, and they're just they're completely fine with everything. They're quiet themselves, and but they don't mind. I told them what I would like to do, and I could even maybe give them some extra cash flow, which would help them in their retirement. So I just felt it would be a win-win.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking all the questions that I know where the what's the word, hiccups are, because that's what I'm concerned about. So
I wouldn't call the noise monitoring thing. Sorry.
Yes, I'm not. Yeah, I know the noise is easy in the sense that how to monitor it and control it. But my concern is they've gotten used to it being quiet because they spent time with you and they got you out of the house and they probably rejoiced. Then now there's noise again. So you know what I'm saying? That they have to. That's a consideration, is all I'm trying to say. Now, with that being said, though, is there internal access from the basement to the main house upstairs?
Yes, but I would change the locks on that door. It's a basement that comes down the stairs.
That can be locked off, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. And then last, I guess the other question is going to be, are they willing, or are you going to find an arrangement with them to where they can take the trash out on the appropriate days? I know it sounds crazy, but you're gonna the quantity of trash that they're about to encounter consistently is going to increase, and that can become an issue. Anytime I've worked in a neighborhood or any of the neighborhoods, and in fact, the majority of the times that you hear complaints in anything that's zoned R1 or like it, it's always noise, trash, and parking. And if you can solve those three things, noise, trash, and parking, then it probably can. You can probably make it work. Now, I hear your point about the walk score, but the walk score is only important relative to whom you're serving. So you mentioned military, but I guess, but the better question I have is, how close is the nearest hospital? Is it less?
Well, we've got an emergency center but it's an emergency hospital in the basically right at the entrance of the community. But I guess I got to do the research if there's actually like traveling nurses that go in, because I thought about serving traveling nurses, but I don't know if they actually go to that emergency hospital.
So here's what I would do then. You want to find out what the level of the trauma center, what level it is, because that will help you have an understanding of kind of like, is this are they actually busy enough to support things like what you're talking about? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So if they're not, and you're asking all the right questions, the question is if someone were going to staying in the area where your parents are, what are they going to go do? Why are they coming to the area? And that's really the question. If the only thing, though, is the military base, then it doesn't mean you don't have a play. It just means you have to have a different expectation, because it might be someone transitioning to the area who needs to stay for 30, 45 days before, say, base housing is available, or maybe they're here on contract temporarily. So I don't think it's a deal killer. I just think who it would serve is going to be different. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. The VRE, or the train station, is about a mile away from there as well. So I guess I got to check into who's coming into town.
Where does the train station go?
I think it goes all the way, because I'm in Virginia, it goes all the way down to Florida and then back.
Okay, what's the closest major city it stops in?
I don't know. I guess that's some research I have to do. Yeah, I got to do that.
yeah, absolutely. So these are the questions that I would want to get answered in order to feel solid. Like, okay, this is who we're talking to and where it's going to work. Now, you juxtapose that against Tyson's Corner, I got no questions about that. Just none.
Yeah, but my lease is like 2,500 to 3,000, and I got to see if I can get a corporate lease. And I've got the business credit because I've been doing business credit stuff. So I just felt like I kind of test waters beforehand. And just wanted to see what you thought about it. My biggest thing was like the whole walk square thing. But I guess let me do that research you just
I could
suggested.
say that you're going to spend you're going to quote unquote spend near the same either way you go. The only difference is the commitment. And that's what I hear. I mean, that's really the difference. The difference is if it goes quote unquote south with your parents' location, one, every Thanksgiving you're going to have to deal with that, and two,
they're cool.
the worst case scenario is they've got a great basement now. If it goes south the other way, you've got extra furniture you didn't need, and your commitment is the 12-month lease or whatever the length of term of the lease that you got. So that's really how it goes, one way or the other, So I'm not pro one or against the other. I think either one is a way to go. You're in the group, so what I would do is tag John Williams. Him and his wife started their first one. Now the difference was that it was inside their house, their basement, but they could probably give you some additional insight on what that looked like. And then if you want, let me see, cash flow. Sorry, I'm going to the podcast. There's one with Sue Hoy. I can never get her name right. Episode 320. Episode 3. So it's Cash Flow Diary podcast. If you listen to episode 320, this is kind of her model. She takes spare space in other people's houses, and that's like the thing she likes to do. Therefore, there's probably something inside that podcast episode that's going to assist you in some additional considerations. But I'm 6 in one, a half dozen in the other. Either way it goes, and I can make a case for you to start with your parents' house because, again, I'm just thinking really long term. At some point, they're either going to sell it or you're going to inherit it. Either way it goes.
Yeah, I'm going to inherit it.
Something like that's going to happen. So, yeah, and even if they sell it, you still inherit what's left. I mean, do you hear where I'm coming from there?
Yeah,
so,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So you've got all of those as options. I'm not one or the other. Which one's physically closer to you? Tyson's Corner?
Yeah, I live literally 10 minutes from Tyson's Corner right now.
Okay, then probably that one. That's literally what it's coming down to. Simply because the amount of getting your first one up and everything that you're going to forget, and you're going to get tired of driving. Ask me how I know.
Okay. I believe me, I know how you know. So, all right, perfect. Thank you so much for
no problem.
Helping me out.
We do.
All right, Jay. Have a great night. Thank you. Bye.
No problem. All right. Okay, YouTubes, here we come. I'm coming to you. Let's get your questions. For those of you wondering who I am Jay Massey, CEO of Cash Flow Diary. If you got here late, this is kind of what we do on Tuesdays is I do my best to answer the questions that the internet throws at me regarding real estate, business, etc., specifically short-term rentals. And if you've heard any of the calls, you heard some of our students, or maybe not always students, but asking questions that keep them moving forward. And if you yourself have found yourself asking, like, hey, I'd like to move forward, start with cashflowdiary.com/STAR. It's a short little presentation about short-term rentals and what we have to offer and how we've been able to run a system that doesn't require your personal time. As I mentioned, I get excited for things like this because it allows us and our students to go anywhere they want to and still be able to take care of their families. All right, let me scroll back a little bit. Let's see what we've got. So we start with Ignacio, nice and soft. Good day. Yes, I'll take that. Let's see what else we've got. Angel says, hello. Oh, here's the question. How does Sonder have multiple units in Denver when they only allow one primary resident? Looking for a strategy to have multiple units, quote unquote, /insights. Got it. So, we. I don't know how to say your name, man. I am sorry. I'm just gonna go. Can I just call you Greg? Because that's the only part of your name that I can recognize, and I know that I probably get right. I'm sorry. I just don't know. Um, so Sonder and many others, and companies like them. What for those of you who don't know, they're just much larger, usually VC funded operations that are running a very similar model. And what has happened here is that, and this happens a lot, where he's talking about Denver, and he's specifically talking about Denver because they have certain guidelines in their ordinances, which one would think prevent the model from happening. Now, with that being said, what I will say really quickly, because we just don't have time to go into the depths of Sonder, is to say that, one, always read the ordinance, because most of the ordinances cover and will tell you here's where and here's how. Very few of them say you just can't do it. All right. So that's number one. Number two, inside many of those ordinances, they are focused on certain zones of real estate. I will often say and throw you in the direction of one of the reasons we like and have used apartment buildings, besides the fact that that's where most of my real estate experience lies, is because they are often zoned differently and usually not covered. Now, there are many other ways to make this happen, okay? And unfortunately, I just don't have the time to go through them all, but I've given you enough right there, Greg, because I want you to start right there. And then one of the last ones, though, really quickly, is look at length of stay. Length of stay. So oftentimes, having a minimum stay requirement can assist you with being in compliance with the ordinance as well. All right. Woo. And he says, thanks for all your help. You're welcome. No problem. Let's see what else we've got. Jennifer Lloyd. Hi, Jay. My husband and I are current students. Awesome question. Do you think a short-term rental would work on a property with a walk score of 0? However, it's a 20-minute drive to most major attractions in Washington, D.C. That sounds like an oxymoron to me. How can a property have a walk score of 0 but yet still be near civilization? I don't know. And the answer to your question, Jennifer, is yes. So I'm going to show you something on my screen. Just give me one quick second. Let's see. Okay. All right, there we go. So I know these exist, and I say it all the time, and I try to tell people it's not about the real estate. It's about the experience on the piece of real estate. What we are looking at here is straight up a covered wagon in the middle of, I don't even know where, South Platte. That sounds like Montana. So it's a covered wagon. They got and you've got wilderness and trees and probably mosquitoes with no electricity, maybe not even a shower. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And yet, it's here. This is what I'm talking about. All right? It's not that it doesn't work, and not that it can't. It's about the experience on the piece of real estate. So the answer to your question is yeah. A walk score is not the end-all, be-all determinant of will it work. That's why we don't start with money. That's why we don't start with the profit, or what about a 2-bedroom, or what about a this and that? Completely irrelevant. That's why I've said that. You start with whom do you want to serve? When you answer that question, everything else gets easy. Everything gets easy. But a covered wagon is just but one example. There are many, many more, all right, where you can make this thing work, okay? Let's see. Do you use Smart B&B for your messaging service? I'm assuming if you're talking about the automation as we communicate to our guest, the answer is yes. What is up, man? Long time fan. Awesome. Glad that you're here. Thanks for being here. Let's see. What is this? I am near San Francisco. Hold on. Oh, we've answered. This is Na Yang. Okay, got it. See your question. Hey, Wendy, how are you? Let's see. Wendy says, can I get a cosigner to get an apartment? And what percentage is good to offer in return for the favor? What happened in the case the apartment landlord knows that my guest from MRV, if I said, is a corporate rental? Got it. All right. So, one, Wendy, under every circumstance, we always operate transparently. So that second question you're asking about what happens, that they should already know that Airbnb and maybe many other platforms and marketplaces is where you get your customers from. So that shouldn't come up because you should have already had that discussion. But can you get a cosigner? Of course. Now, what percentage is good to offer? I'm going to give you two resources to focus on. One, inside the blueprint, there's a section called financing. Okay, inside the blueprint, there's a section called financing. So I want you to go. It's like a 30 or 40-minute module inside there that talks about the deal structures that I recommend if you absolutely are intent on using other people's capital. And then I'm going to also give you a reference to one of the podcasts as well. In this particular case, we're going to be talking. Let's go back. We're going to talk about Cash Flow Diary Podcast, episode 548. Episode 548. It's the slicing pie model for funding your company. Anyway, if you've read the book already, this is literally what I'm talking about. But again, go listen to that episode. You'll get some more ideas about how you can work the percentages, etc. So hopefully that helps. Woo! And let's see, Amani Transportation. I just started Airbnb 3 weeks ago. Just a little challenge of not having guests. Okay. Amani, I'm going to assume you're not one of our students. One, I assume that for two reasons, because you said I just started Airbnb 3 weeks ago. Many of our students know that one of the first lessons is that none of us actually do Airbnb. We all have short-term rentals, okay? And it's really important to understand that distinction as a business owner because Airbnb is but one marketplace, one channel for customer acquisition. And little challenges of not having guests, that can be challenging. And it's really hard for me to diagnose when I don't know what system you're running, if you're running a system, or if you just said, hey, let me take some photos and see what happens. I just, because I don't know. And that's why, and I think you've heard me say a couple of times, even today, that the number one step, the first thing you must do is start with whom do you want to serve? Because when you start that way, it makes it easier to diagnose and then therefore prescribe what could be potential solutions. So kind of like what happened at the beginning of this particular Q&A episode, where we had some students call in because I understood the system that they're running. They were able to ask very targeted questions, and I could give them targeted answers, knowing that they had the ability to execute because there weren't missing pieces, right, to their system in order to make it work. So hopefully that helps. And if you want to find out more, Amani, you can go to cashflowdiary.com/star to understand more about the system and the industry and all that kind of goodness and good stuff. So last chance for calls. So 417-352-2274. I'm going to see what's inside the Facebook group here, and we'll kind of go from there. Let's see. So Jessica, she's asking, hello, short-term rental family. How much would you pay a virtual assistant and for how many hours a day? That's interesting. Jessica. So I guess the first question I would have, Jessica, instead of saying virtual assistant, what we need to really understand is what role you're asking them to play. What are you really looking for them to do? Because I don't know. If it's the what I would call customer experience department, I can tell you that our structures that we have a manager, and then well, actually in this case now we have two managers, and then we have I believe it's four, it could be five actual customer service agents, and we run those 24/7. The agents, I believe, are $4.17 an hour, and we source those individuals via Upwork in the Philippines. So they all get 40 hours a week, and like I said, 24/7, because we want our response time to be under 7 minutes for every question. So John says our basement sleeps 5 and has no kitchen. Good God, how can you guys have these basements or a whole nother house? Anyway, Monty, if you're serving the personally, I know areas that reach no vacancies. Lots of non-professional operators. Okay, so this is cool. So let me read this for everybody. Mark, one of our other students, happens to be or know people in the area that Na was talking about in San Francisco, and he says, and I quote, he personally knows areas that reach no vacancies, which is very true up there. That's I'm saying this for a reason. Northern California, it's hard to find a place. And they have lots of non-professional operators. And he says cash flow diary professionals could do well, because that's the truth. There are lots of non-professional operators everywhere, right? And you know, it is what it is. John, it says, and our guests walk behind the house to get in. Yeah, that makes sense. It's easily $1K plus per month at this point. The noise issue ends up being you and not the guest. That's awesome, John. That's great. And Jeremy Nixon made a comment. He just said Sonder. He recently had a run-in with Sonder as well. And we were talking in our highest level group. We get together twice a month, and literally it's basically hot seat, all of our business stuff, so that for hours, like it's like 4, sometimes 6 hours, where we just sit in hot seat and make sure everybody is growing, expanding, becoming bigger and better. And I'm sure he's tired of Sonder already. It's all good, Jeremy. It's all good. Let me see. Do I see any other questions? Any other callers? No, I think we're gonna. Oh, let me get this YouTube thing and see. No, looks like we're good. Yep, looks like we're good there. So, with that being said, guys, gals, people of all ages, I'm hoping that today has been, or at least this information has been helpful for you. And if you have found yourself, you're in this position where you're like, you know what, I'd like to be able to take some of this information and use it and have it become something to where my family can benefit from, and so that maybe we can travel, just travel. Maybe we can just rest. Maybe we can save for college. Maybe we can do whatever, change our quality of life in some way, shape, or form. Just go on over to cashflowdiary.com/star, STAR. Feel free to check out the presentation. And many of you, if you haven't already, make sure that you go to cashflowdiary.com/action. We had a guest trainer speaker. The group is about to get started. You want to watch the replay and understand what's been in your way. More importantly, how to get it out of your way and to keep it out of your way so that you have a shot at becoming a bigger, better, badder version of the person that's sitting here today. In fact, one of the things I often like to tell people is that this business model, especially with this system, it's like owning a high performance vehicle. But if you have only been used to driving a Prius, it's just not the same. Okay. And you have to learn how to drive the vehicle and get the most out of it. That's kind of what we're talking about, which in this case means how to get the most out of you, out of every day. Because you and I, we will never out-earn our personal growth. And Brian Mattson is by far qualified. And I've seen him train and help individuals become bigger, better, badder. Yes, their income grows, but more importantly, they become an even better human than they already were. All right. Let me see. 2 last questions. Oh, no. 1 last question. Do you drop prices significantly if you are vacant for a particular month and have an inquiry requesting a booking with the budget half of your normal rates? I'm just going to go with no, because I think there's a lot of information I'm missing. For example, I'm not going to drop price unless I have a reason to drop a price. Like, am I vacant and the month starts tomorrow? Like, and how far in advance are we talking? Is this a corporate customer? Is this an insurance customer? And just because someone has a certain budget, then if I'm following all of the practices of what I call NPP, no price pricing, does it help the portfolio to rent, especially on an entire month, below cost? No. So there's just too many. There's just more data that's needed in order to answer that question. So anyway, hopefully, as I said, you guys have enjoyed the time here. I've enjoyed taking the time and talking to you, and hopefully this has helped. Whoops, that was loud. So hopefully this has helped everybody become more confident, more ready, willing, and able to go out there and keep your business running. Nonetheless, just remember, please, if not this, then what? If not you, then who? If not now, then when? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.